There you go. How's it going?
Hey, sexy. And there's Gator. What's up, bro?
Forgot to turn my amp on. What's going on, man? By the way, if you don't recognize my voice, it's
I recognize you.
Peckerwood.
Yeah, I know Pecker. I wasn't going to call you Pecker. I was just going to call you Wood.
Yeah, I go by that too. I've been attacked as a white supremacist lately on YouTube when I go by Peckerwood. So I decided to revert back to being Gator.
Hey, Mandy's here.
Miss
Hey, Mandy.
Hey, Mandy. Yo.
Yeah, Tawny, for just in case you don't know, Wood and I actually went to the same junior high school.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Ooh, shit. Here, let me turn off the camera real quick. I don't want to get you kicked off.
Mandy, how are you?
Tawny and I have been friends for a while. We have a few mutual friends.
Mandy, it's a rough day. I got some bad news yesterday. But it's okay. We're rocking on.
I figured out what was wrong with my dog.
What was going on? What was going on with your dog?
I just was taking him for a walk, and all of a sudden he just froze. He wouldn't move. I had to carry him back, which was about a mile. And he was fine once I got him in the house. When I found out, I went a different way, and I couldn't see him until I took my shoes off and looked at the sole of my feet, but it was full of little tiny buffalo burrs. That's why he didn't want to move, because he was going to get stuck with them. So I know I can't go that way now.
You know, I after I told you about putting up I don't know what the hell they call it, but it's, whenever they put a premiering in a half hour, whatever, on YouTube.
Yeah.
I tried to do one myself, and my video never even showed up on my channel. But see, I could access it from StreamYard and watch it on YouTube, but it still never showed up on my channel. I don't know what was going on. Maybe because I changed my name. I don't know. But I changed my name on YouTube and in the Discord and stuff, so I don't know what the problem is. And they don't go by your username anyway. They go by your Google account.
Yeah.
YouTube does anyway.
All right. Mandy, I just sent you a message on Discord. Okay, Zerzus is buffalo burrs are horrible on tires. What is a buffalo burr?
I'm trying to figure that out because buffalo burrs don't touch tires. I mean, it doesn't do anything to tires.
Hey, I know a little bits of metal out of a aircraft shot can do to tires. I worked at LAX, but never heard of a buffalo burr.
Do you mean FOD?
I absolutely do mean FOD. As a matter of fact, I won the Golden Bolt for outstanding FOD awareness. You know what the prize was?
A bolt, golden bolt.
Nope, an incentive ride and an F4.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Hell yeah, that was fun, man. We did loops and shit.
I waited, I forget how long to take a ride on, and it was cut short because they had to go on a rescue mission. So they came back, dropped me off, picked another guy up, and on the way back, when they went to land, as soon as they hooked up the cable to the helicopter that links it to the ship's computer, the ship rolled one way, the helicopter rolled the other. The enlisted crewman in the back jumped out. The helicopter went over the side into the water. The swimmer managed to get the co-pilot out, but he was already dead, and the pilot went down with the helicopter.
I'm going to see if I can get this over, and I'll show you what a buffalo burr is.
Okay.
I wonder if it's anything like a goat head.
Probably.
They're pretty nasty to like bicycle tires, but I don't think they could puncture through a decent treaded car tire.
I don't know.
They sure do feel sucky in your bare feet.
Oh,
Yeah, kind of like Legos.
I gotta see.
No, I don't have any children, but I had Legos.
All right, give me a minute.
When I lived over on Rory Lane, we used to always, that field out in front, it's all condominiums now, was just a field on both sides. And when we take the bus would pick us up at the end of the street on Malloy Avenue, and we'd grab handfuls of foxtails and throw them at each other. Those are always lovely to pull out of your clothing.
Do you remember those freaking trees
Yeah.
that they have in some of the, I don't want to call them housing complexes, but tract homes, where they look like these super spiky ball things that come off the trees? We used to pick those up and throw them at each other, and they.
Oh, yeah. Supposedly the inside of that is like itching powder. If you break it open.
We did that on the freaking curb where we grind it down.
Yeah.
And then go dump it down someone's shirt.
Oh, yeah.
This is what happens when kids have no adult supervision.
Yep. We had pine trees out in front of our house when we moved over to the other side of the valley, and we used to have fights with them all the time when they looked like a little hand grenade. And I had an abusive older brother that he was not very athletic, and I was beaning him with him. And he decided to hit me in the face with a radiator hose off my dad's car that was laying in the back of his truck.
You guys were talking about buffalo burrs. The word that was going through my mind is caltrip. And Zerzeus just made a comment. Since I was assuming you were talking about Tribulus terrestris. It's an annual plant in the caltrip family. Thank you, sir. I figured out where the word caltrip came from.
I figured that was when cows ate magic mushrooms. They'd go on a cow trip. Oh, caltrop. You were not saying cow trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just had a thought through my head. It's like, you ever tipped a cow?
Oh, hell yeah.
Hope Town, bro.
Yeah.
Right, Cooner.
Well, I went to Job Corps in Boise, Idaho, Marsing, Idaho, actually, which is kind of south of Boise. And we cow tipped over there. Somebody got a bright idea to try to kill a cow with a baseball bat and butcher it and cook it.
Yeah, you know what a baseball bat does to a cow?
Pisses them off.
Pisses the fucking cow off.
Because that's exactly what happened. And he went after the dude with the bat while the rest of us ran the other way.
Look, they say cows are stupid. No, they're really not. They just don't shit.
Yeah. And they can be mean as shit too. They can be just as mean as bulls if you piss them off, especially if they have a calf nearby.
Yeah, look, that just goes to say that do not fuck with mama's kid.
Yep.
That would be bad. Doesn't matter what race, species, don't care. Don't mess with mama's kid.
Yeah. Except there is some critters that eat their own children, you know.
Yeah. That means mom's handing down discipline. Don't piss off mom.
I wonder if chickens that have any kind of maternal instinct to their baby chicks when they're born.
Yes, they do.
I guess they probably do, yeah.
They do, but chickens pretty much tend to forget after about 5 seconds. So,
yeah.
hey, you know the best way to deal with an angry rooster?
Shotgun?
Nah, tennis racket.
I heard a good joke about roosters once. A new rooster came to the farm and started bragging to the old rooster how he was going to replace him. And the old rooster says, well, how about we race times and whoever wins gets to stay. So he says, since I'm old, let me take off first. So the old rooster runs around the house. Here come the young rooster after it. And the farmer's sitting there on the porch going, what the hell? Right, comes around the second time. Farmer picks up a shotgun, blows away the young rooster. Turns around, his wife goes, man, that's the second gay rooster I've had to shoot this week.
Can you see that, Logan?
What?
Can you see that?
Yeah, hang on. Let me get my glasses. Oh, my.
Shit, I was on the wrong channel. I was on YouTube and I had it paused.
Yes, I can.
That's
Okay,
okay.
yeah, that looks nasty.
Yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't even mess with one of those.
Oh, yeah.
I'd see it on, the side of the trail or something. I'm just like, nah, I'm going to stay away from that.
Yeah, them are pretty nasty.
Hey, Mark's here. About fucking time.
And Mark,
I don't see him. Oh, there he is. Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
This is Peckerwood, by the way. I'm also known as Gator.
I'm just going to call you Dave from now on.
That's fine.
Dave's not here, man.
Usually what I'll say is, yeah, man, they picked up old Peckerwood on a warrant, so I'm taking care of business for him. And then when I switch back to Peckerwood, I say, yeah, they picked up Gator the other day.
Well,
he'll be doing 60 days.
This is Dave, and Dave's not here, man.
Oh yeah.
And you can't answer this, but kudos to anybody who knows what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh no, I can for sure.
I know you can. That's why you.
But you know where Strawberry lived in their first movie there, right around the corner from my grandma's house.
No kidding.
Yep.
That was Tom Skerritt.
Yep. Your friend can stay here. They don't like weird dudes. They don't like strange dudes. I've seen that movie like 7 times when it came out at the drive-in in Lancaster.
Oh man, I've got that album, the
Oh, yeah.
actual vinyl album.
Even my aunt and uncle that were totally against anything, the pot or whatever, they thought Cheech and Chong was hilarious.
Oh, you dropped it.
Oh, shit. I'm talking about somebody else.
All right, well, here, let's change the subject. Mark says he was watching Battlestar Galactica. I want to know which version. I've seen them both. Dun 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 dun.
I only know the one with Lauren Green in it.
You never saw the next one? Man, the Cylon's got an upgrade and a new one.
Oh,
Oh yeah. They gave him lingerie too.
I think the one guy that played his son, didn't he? Or was that the guy that played the Face Man? One of them that played. I think the one that played his son. I think he passed away like last year or something.
Okay, are you talking the original series?
Yeah, the original one with Lauren Green.
All right, so the guy who played
Apollo, yeah.
I don't know if he did or not.
I think his name's Gary Graham. Maybe. Or was that that was the guy that played in the Jan and Dean movie, wasn't it? Can't think of what his damn name is. But I think he did pass away though.
Hang on a second.
The Jan and Dean movie from back in the 70s.
I saw that one. Played
1978. Dead Man's Curve was the name of it. Richard Hatch.
Richard Hatch. There you go. Yep.
And he is dead. Been dead a few years, unfortunately. Well, we all got to go sometime.
Okay, you're thinking Face Man. That was Dirk Benedict.
Yeah, he's still alive, I'm pretty sure.
And he did a cameo on the new A-Team, that movie that they did in 2010.
I saw it. I didn't remember that though.
Yeah,
Alien Nation. He just looks a bit like Richard Hatch.
Yeah, okay. No, Dirk Benedict did a cameo on that, and it was when the new Face Man was in the prison shower.
Mm-hmm.
And Dirk is just like, throwing a towel over his shoulder going, come on, kid.
No, Gary Graham's actually still alive.
Okay.
So, Alien Nation was kind of a weird show.
I know
they were drinking the putrid milk kind of grossed me out, though. That's how they got drunk. They drank rotten milk.
I did see that. Ew.
Yeah.
Man, that's like drinking cottage cheese.
Oh, yeah. One time my brother got me to drink some, and God, did I get sick. It had like something in it. It was like a chunk of egg or something. Ugh.
Mark is right. Richard Hatch was in both the original and the new version.
Oh. How long ago did this new version come out?
It was before 2016.
Oh, yeah, obviously, yeah.
No,
Richard Hatch was in it.
2010. I was still living in El Segundo at the time. So
that's a wonderful place to live.
El Segundo, the nickname, and it's not a very pleasant nickname, is Smell Segundo, because we've got the waste treatment plant right there. And yeah, the wind does change every now and then, but for a seaside town, El Segundo is freaking awesome. And don't forget, that's where Fred Sanford.
Oh, yeah. My cousin lived down there for a long time. He just moved to Arizona here recently. He just got tired of the bullshit. I'm very familiar with the area because, like I told you the other day, I was born in Inglewood. So
that's where our kennel was, Inglewood.
I was born in the same hospital Brian Wilson was born in.
Hillcrest and Aviation is where our kennel was.
We lived on Aviation at one time.
It's not there anymore.
One set of my grandparents is buried in Inglewood Cemetery, which is right there by the football stadium and right there by where I was born. And the other set of grandparents are buried up on 190th in Inglewood, on Inglewood by 190th. Pacific Crest Cemetery. If I was coming down from the Antelope Valley and I was going to Redondo Beach, I'd drive right by there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom told me our house on Aviation was right there.
Both of my grandparents are buried in Rose Hills.
Yeah, I know where that is. That's by over where my aunt and uncle. Well, my uncle's
Pasadena.
That's by Whittier.
Yeah, it's over Pasadena.
There's a Rose Hills in Pasadena too, because there's a big one in over by Whittier. I'm not exactly sure what city
Yeah,
that's in.
that might be
Yeah,
the
there's
one.
more than one Rose Hills, and one of them has a mock-up of the Old North Church that we used to go out on field trips to.
Guys, I can't remember.
I know there's more than one Forest Lawn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forest Lawn is the one. that
Yeah.
has- yeah.
My mom used to
Sorry.
be.
I stand corrected. I apologize.
My mom used to be obsessed with cemeteries, and when I was a little kid, she would drag us there all the time, and I was always be like totally freaked out. But yeah, the one in it's kind of in the valley. It's in the valley somewhere. It's got that big stained glass Last Supper and a bunch of other stuff in there. I mean, interesting stuff. Last time I went back to California, I went to Hollywood Forever Cemetery and checked it out. A lot of cool shit in there.
You know what? I haven't seen a gravestone since I was back east in Pennsylvania. They're all just flat markers now on the ground.
No.
I mean, and that's an observation that I'm sure has absolutely no.
Oh, this is an interesting bit of trivia.
Yeah, just I haven't seen it, and it's not like I hang out in cemeteries. I'm not a goth.
Yeah, I
Because
just
the headstones are so expensive.
well, they don't. They also make it awful hard to maintain the lawns and stuff in the cemeteries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Well, don't forget, I'm still calling you Dave. Dave and I get our markers 100% paid for by the government.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I actually have a nephew buried there in that cemetery next to Rancho Simi Park.
Okay.
That little one back in there.
I drive
Yeah.
past it. It's I know what it is, and I drive past it every time I go to my mom's house.
I inherited 2 plots there because my brother and his wife were going to be buried there, after their son passed away, and they're no longer together. And my mom got a hold of them, and then when she passed away, I got them. And I made the mistake of going there to talk to them first, and they informed me that I had to sell them back to them for half of what my parents paid for them, which was like $75 back in 1976. Well, that's what I got out of them. And they would. I could not sell them to anybody else, or they would not allow them to be buried there.
Wow.
So, and then I went to another cemetery, and they said, "Yeah, if you wouldn't have showed them to them first, you could have sold them to whoever you wanted to. But now that they know you got them, you might as well just sell them to them." And then when I said, "Okay, I'll sell them to you," well, we'll have to send you a check. Yeah, well, I wasn't hanging them on to them for any reason. I wasn't going to be buried there. I think my mom was probably the last person in my family that'll be buried, because my little sister was buried in Lancaster, and she wanted to be buried next to her. But I prefer just to be cremated.
That's what's going to happen.
Or just chuck me out in the field and let the crows pick at me. I don't care. I'll be dead. I don't give a damn.
You know what? That's pretty much the attitude of anybody who's been in the military. It's like, yep, I know what the aftermath is, and it ain't gonna fucking matter.
Yeah, you're dead. You're dead.
What happens to you after you pass away? That's for the family to deal with.
Yeah.
That the death for them and how they deal with it is what they need to do.
I got the sign. I got.
Care.
Go ahead. I got the signed pink slip to my motorcycle in a briefcase over here, so that'll be enough to get me cremated when I die.
Okay.
Yes, we've had this discussion. I live with my older brother, and if I die before he does, I just say, "Hey, man, the pink slip to my car's in there. Just forge my name to it. The PIN number for my bank account. It should be a couple $1,000. Rest of my shit, just fling it in the trash. I don't care." Yeah, when my mom passed away, about 15.
I can take care of this real easy. Just look at this.
Yeah. When my mom passed away, I suddenly realized that everything that you gain over your lifetime is just something else that somebody else is going to have to get rid of when you die. So I suddenly quit becoming a collector of shit. I own shit that I can use. Otherwise, I don't have a lot of junk hanging around.
I'll tell you what, you really, 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 when I die, want to bring in a bunch of Boy Scouts to go over all the crap that I got in my house. And guess what? They let girls into the Boy Scouts now. So,
yeah.
Are you serious?
Welcome. Yes. And it's about freaking time.
And but the boys are in the brownies?
No, they probably don't allow that.
No, there are strict rules that have to go on, but I got to tell you, the United States is like the last holdout country, except for some of the Arab countries who have scouting.
Mark.
Hey, Mark.
How's it going?
No, the U.S. was one of the last holdouts for allowing females into scouting.
Wow.
And way back when, in the 80s, there was a push to get Boy Scouts of America and Girl Scouts of America together. And it was a whole thing where they got even the uniforms changed names to Scouting USA. And the Boy Scouts screwed it up because they wanted a cut of the Girl Scout cookie sales. And the Girl Scouts said, no.
Oh.
I quit in the Cub Scouts because I refused to become a wee blow.
Yeah, we blow wobble, but they don't fall down.
I don't blow. So no, actually, I got kicked out of the Cub Scouts. We there was a hill at the top of that led right into between our house and the other house. There wasn't a lot of houses built.
Mm-hmm.
And the Scoutmaster lived directly across the street from us, and he had a brand new Camaro.
They have den mothers.
Yeah, he had a brand new Camaro, and we used to push this old. It's actually worth a shitload of money now, but it wasn't at the time. It was a 1903 Simplex without a motor in it, and we used to roll it down that hill. And the Scoutmaster dude backed his brand new Camaro out in front of me, and I ran right in the side of it. Unfortunately for him, when he confronted my father about it, my father said, "You backed your car out in front of my son while he's riding down the hill? You're lucky I'm not suing you." And that was the end of me and this boy.
Your dad's right.
Yep.
Yep. I don't know how it works in England, Mark, but if you're backing up, you are in the wrong.
Well, he backed out in the street. And he from his driveway, and I was riding down the street. I might as well have been riding a bicycle. I was just coasting down the hill in a motorcycle without an engine in it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't doing anything illegal.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, in the United States, if you're backing up, you are guilty.
Yeah, he chased me.
If you rear end somebody, you are guilty.
Yeah. Well, if you purposely cut in somebody's lane and brake check them and they got a camera,
mm-hmm.
then it's not as automatic as it used to be. They call that reckless driving.
Yeah, I know.
So how you doing over there, Mark?
Not too bad. It's blimey, it's actually 11 o'clock at night here. I didn't even realize how late it was.
Did you have your ration of honey today?
No, not yet. I had a sandwich and that's about it.
There you go.
And some Pepsi. So I'm on the good Pepsi today instead of the good honey.
Trying to think of what that sandwich they eat in Canada is called. I was wondering if that's big in the UK too. It's kind of like a gyro, a gyro, some people call them. A donair. Have you ever heard of a donair? I think it's called. Must just be a Canadian thing.
No,
I'll look that up.
It's a good-looking sandwich. It's like on pita bread, and it's not lamb and beef mixed together. I forget what it is. It looks good. This guy that I watch on YouTube that does stealth camping, he makes them all the time. They even have big festivals about their donair sandwich.
Oh, wow. Good thing I have the internet and I'm a foodie. the original donair from the east coast of Canada. The homemade donair recipe is based on the legendary East Coast donair created in the city of Halifax by a Greek restaurateur in the early 70s. Originally made with ground lamb, it is now more commonly made with beef. Favorite garnishes are chopped onions and fresh diced tomatoes.
Yep, and some kind of a really sweet sauce. He says that the guy I watched, he says it's sort of like tzatziki, but not quite. Tzatziki is the stuff they put on gyros.
Okay, get this. Prep time, 15 minutes. Cook time, 1 hour. Additional time, 8 hours, 30 minutes. Total time, 9 hours, 45 minutes to make this. So I'm guessing there's some marrying going on. Man, this looks good. I'm reading the recipe.
Are you a fan of the gyro?
Oh, gee, there's my favorite freaking new t-shirt. I gotta save this picture. It says, I had my patience tested. I'm negative.
I have one that says your IQ test came back negative. I also have one on my merch store that says "Shut up, Logan," and then on the back it's got "Mark a sarcastic law student."
You got one that says "Shut up, Logan"?
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
oh man, I gotta go get one of those.
There's this meme going around, "Shut up, Peck," and it reminds me of the guy Peck in the chats. And I was like,
that's the guy with the Japanese kanji after his name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I've got to have me one of those. So I did. I made a "Shut Up, Logan" t-shirt instead.
Oh, thank you, man. No, that's cool. I really appreciate that.
I knew a couple dudes that served in the Marine Corps together, and when they got out, their big thing was, "Yay me, fuck you." There's their license plate. One guy was a bartender, and he'd hand me a drink, go, "This is a yay me, fuck you." And a couple minutes later, "This is an American yay me, fuck you. This is a Russian yay me, fuck you." Okay, I get it. Yay me, fuck you. All right, got it.
Man, that is what every vet says as soon as he gets out. He's talking to the guys who are not getting out. Yay me, fuck you.
You know, when I got out of, I don't know what they call it in the Air Force, but at my technical school, they call it A school. When I got out of A school, okay, I went straight into the reserves, and all my buddies were like, "Oh, you lucky bastard, man. You're going back to civilian life."
Yeah, we called it tech school.
Yeah. They're all going to, most of them were going to San Diego to be on ships. Well, I got out, pissed away all my money, re-enlisted at my first reserve meeting.
You idiot.
Ended up stationed in San Diego, and right before we went on a big cruise, all my buddies, I remembered what ships they were on. I went and visited them, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing here?" I re-enlisted. Like, you got to be kidding me, not you. Yeah, me. I needed a damn job.
Are you fucking stupid? Yeah,
It worked out good. But
I've had a conversation, brother. I've had that.
Yeah.
All right. If anybody wonders what I'm doing, I'm tying my shoes.
The original deal was, instead of doing my 5 years of reserve duty, all I had to do was 2 more years of active, and I was done with them. But by the time I was done with them, they didn't want me no more anyway. I was a bad boy.
I got some good news.
Ooh.
My place where I live, due to my brother, is now paid off.
Oh, that's nice.
Fucking standing. Are we going to have the mortgage burning party?
What?
Are we going to have the mortgage burning party?
No.
Those are always awesome.
The doctor's weaning me off my oxygen. So pretty soon I won't have to have oxygen anymore. And they're putting meters in this park here, electric meters. And my husband gets to help them assemble them. And we get a free month's rent for him doing that.
Cool.
Awesome.
So 1 month I'll be saving a lot of money. I'm hoping it's December, so I can get the few things that I want to get for Christmas.
Do they have a ritual of burning your working uniforms when you get out of the Air Force, Logan? They do in the Navy.
No, but I do know we have to cut the patches off, and everybody pretty much keeps the buttons for some reason. But that's it, and then you can go ahead and donate them. So.
They were still wearing Seafarers, the bell bottoms, when I was in the Navy, and bell bottoms were going out of style when I joined the Navy, and by the time I got out, they were definitely no longer in style. And
I remember those, and
I saved one pair, and I wore them one time, and everybody made fun of me.
I remember my sister having a picture of a sailor wearing those, and it was an ass shot, and she had that on a poster in her room. So,
yeah, I guess I know.
I'm just saying
they do kind of highlight the butt. I mean, they look good on a woman for sure. Yeah, they basically look like prison outfits. You know what they some prisons, like in I think in Shawshank Redemption, didn't they wear the dungarees?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And then Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm wearing BDU pants right now. I swear to God, they make me look like a duffel bag, but they're comfortable, and they got side pockets.
I was at my cardiologist the other day, and somebody in there was wearing blue scrubs. And I said, yeah, man, I used to wear an outfit just like that. Oh, you were in the medical profession? I says, no, I was in the LA County jail. That's what they wear there. And different colors mean different things at different jails. And when you start getting moved around and stuff, they'll start assuming something like, hey, that means a nut at this jail. Are you a nut? Are you a mental patient?
You know, I've been through, not as an inmate, I've been through every prison and almost every jail in Southern California with my drug dog. It's quite an experience.
I spent most of my time in the Hall of Justice downtown. I really like that building.
You know, the only one that really, truly fucking scared me was Chino Women's Prison.
Oh, you couldn't pay me enough to work in the women's.
Oh, man.
Them bitches are mean.
Yes, they are, and they let them all stay out in the freaking courtyard.
I worked the men's prison, and I will always work a men's prison. They couldn't pay me enough to work a woman's.
Chino also had the women hot shots. These are the inmates that they let go fight wildfires.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, their training in prison is tougher than Marine Corps boot camp.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, because I got to see them train one day, and it's like, oh man, I'll watch.
The one thing that was really cool about spending most of my time at the Hall of Justice downtown is as a trustee, I got to go through all those catacombs underneath the city.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you go all over the place. You go all over downtown Los Angeles underground.
Yes, you can. Guess what? There's an access point at 810 South Flower called the old Southern California Gas Company.
Yep. I know where that one is. I've been through that one, the opposite direction, coming out.
Yep. No, I that used to be one of my security accounts. And because I'm a nosy SOB and a locksmith, I decided to go poking around. And I found the keys, and it's like, ooh, wow, this is scary.
The sheriff's records department has a room in that area where they have records from when the sheriff's department was first established. Mm-hmm. And you can go look through books and stuff and see where somebody was arrested in like 1900 for pissing on the sidewalk or something. It's pretty interesting shit. This guy that I worked for, he was a Filipino, and he had been a sheriff, but he got demoted because he got drunk and was shooting out street lights. That dude was a blast. He would be driving like an undercover cop car, like one of the higher echelon sheriff's department work cars and stuff, and he would let LAPD chase him down to where they fuel up the sheriff's cars in downtown by Alvera Street. And then when they pull in, they realized he was a sheriff. They'd laugh at him. He'd laugh at them, and they didn't think it was so funny. He'd drive in the bus lanes and stuff on purpose just to get him to chase him. Of course, you'd have think they'd have recognized that as being a sheriff's car. They always got that KMA whatever on the license plate.
365.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a real smart ass.
That's actually an FCC radio identifier.
Yeah. He took me to a Dodger game opening day in 1990. Yeah, 1990. And while we was in, he got it. They didn't have cell phones, but they had beepers. And he'd gotten me some clothes and stuff to put on, some sweatpants, a t-shirt. He gets a phone call, so he goes and answers, and he comes back, and a couple minutes after he sits down, he goes, "Hey, would you be mad if you found out they called you for release and you were down here screwing around?" I says, "No, hell no. I wouldn't have got to go to open day at Dodger Stadium." He goes, "Okay." I go, "Did they?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Okay." We get back to jail. They go, "We've been looking for you. They've been calling you for release for like 4 hours." I was all, "Man." He's all, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's all right. Only thing that sucked is I ended up getting out of jail at like 2:00 in the morning instead of the afternoon. And that was at the old county jail. And that's not a place you want to be hanging around.
Then, did they?
Well, no, hell no. I couldn't afford an Uber all the way to Lancaster anyway.
Oh, shit. Hey guys, I'm gonna take a quick break and go replenish my liquid refreshments. So please,
all right.
Sure.
All right, here. It makes me jolly good fellow. Like you. It helps me unwind and sometimes.
Jesus.
Did you watch any of the Brooks trial there today, Mark?
No, I've kind of had a day off YouTube because
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Demon's stream and everything last night was just too much for me. It was just like it knackered me.
You know, I tried to find that. I couldn't find it.
No, he would have removed it because the amount of F-slurs and stuff that were mentioned in the chats and stuff, it would just be nuked anyway. So.
I mean, when that thing was going on with Chile, I was in his live, and it was like boring. But see, I left, and when I left to go to bed, it was just after that is when he did that stuff with that guy. I was like,
Oh, on Hollywood Boulevard?
Yeah, I was like, darn, I missed that. Because I was in Chile's live at that time. Yeah,
Did you catch Miss? You were on Miss Mandy's stream earlier, weren't you?
I was.
We did watch it on there. And, that was it was quite funny to watch.
I believe that dude is in cahoots with Chile, and I think that was all a setup.
Yeah, there's quite a few people that said that seems rather.
Now, I don't think the other guy that came up and wanted to beat his ass afterwards, the guy in the white hat, I don't think he was part of it.
Oh no, I think he
You're talking about STV News?
No, it was Chile was in Hollywood last night, and some guy that is supposedly associated with Kate was stalking him, and then he chased him down the street later, saying he was going to beat his ass. But some other guy that he'd had an altercation with stepped out in front of him like, "I'm your Huckleberry," and suddenly Chile didn't want to fight no more.
But that kid, when
I
he was
did not
after
see
him, he sounded awful scared.
Hey, I know Chili was supposed to be on Hollywood Boulevard last night, and
that's
someone told me about it. I spoke with LA Sheriff's Department and LAPD. At that time, Chili was not on Hollywood Boulevard.
Really?
Well, they had him talking to him on Hollywood Boulevard. I don't know when it was done for sure, but he was on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay, but I just got to tell you, when I made the call, there's just like, nah, he ain't on Hollywood Boulevard.
The only thing that was missing, I think, from that video was, whoa, it's a prank, bro. It's a prank. It's just a prank. Don't worry. I wasn't actually going to fight this overweight guy. That's kind of what I was expecting Chili to say. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
know.
another person
Yeah.
comes up and says, hi.
Yeah, well, he'd already gotten a confrontation with this dude. And this dude wanted to thump him earlier, but he kind of backed off. The cops were right there the whole time. I don't know what cops they were. If they were, I think they were LAPD. And,
Boulevard. Hollywood Boulevard runs through Hollywood, heading west, goes into West Hollywood. As soon as you get to the city of West Hollywood, it's LA County Sheriff's, not LAPD, but they definitely do play well together.
Yeah, he was right on a main street. I recognized the side street. He was there. He was right up from where the Wax Museum and all that crap is. I can't think what the name of the street. I can look it up here in a second.
It's Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, I know, but I'm the side street because you could see the sign. So I knew where he was at.
I had 3 accounts in Hollywood, and the El Capitan Theater was one of them.
Let's see.
As a matter of fact, when I met my wife, she lived right off of Hollywood Boulevard. So,
Yeah, I used to hang out there quite a bit. Even the last time I lived in California, I used to hang out there quite a bit.
you remember that IHOP that's right across the street from Barney's Beanery?
Isn't that on Sunset?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't remember the IHOP. I remember Barney's Beanery.
Oh, if you're looking at the front door of Barney's, just turn around. That's the IHOP. It's in that little Y intersection right there.
They were standing on the corner of Whitley and Hollywood Boulevard.
Whitley. Okay. I know exactly where that is.
I think that's where the there's a
There's a
I
what?
was thinking there's a financial cash services place there in a Metro PCS.
Oh,
I thought that's where the Scientology thing used to be. Oh, it's a lot farther up the boulevard than I thought it was. It's not exactly where I thought it was. It's more towards Vine.
Hollywood and Vine. Ooh, I've never been on that street corner before.
Me and my roommate when I was living in Southern California last time, we'd cruise up and down checking out women, Friday and Saturday nights. We saw this over by the street that turns into Laurel Canyon. We were over there on Crescent Heights and Sunset.
Laurel Canyon.
And we saw this guy that looked exactly like Jesus. And we were way across the street, and I jokingly
said, the one that sells maps to Stars Homes.
No, he wasn't at the time. He might. But I jokingly said, hey, man, I'm wearing your shoes, because a buddy of mine used to call sandals Jesus Goes a-Walking shoes. And when I said that, there's no way he could have heard me. But he turns from where he's at, looks directly at me, and waves and nods his head. And I was like, wow, man, do you think he heard me? And my buddy goes, well, he is Jesus. But every time we went to Hollywood Boulevard after that, we would see that Jesus everywhere. And the last time we was there, we were leaving, and we were about down to like Hollywood and Vine. I said, we didn't see Jesus tonight. And he goes, yeah, that was weird. He comes walking out of the metro station at Hollywood and Vine. There he was. Started making me, rethink my position on, my agnostic position.
Yeah,
maybe he does exist.
Don't tell Jail Warren about this, because you might actually get him to change his mind.
I mean, it was the same guy. I know it was the same Jesus every time. He had the full-on outfit, the hair, the sandals, carried some kind of a staff.
No, it's going to be a very rare instance if you ever figure out whether I'm a believer or not. On YouTube anyway. But all I got to say is, whether you believe or not, it's whatever you find comfort in when the going gets tough. And who's to say that you're wrong?
Yeah, my whole philosophy is this. If the whole idea that there's a supreme being stuff kind of seems, maybe unbelievable, but we're suspected to believe that gases came out of nowhere and formed the universe. That doesn't really seem possible either. How does something come out of nothing? Where did these gases come from? I have my own theory about the universe too, but
Oh, we're talking about the universe, huh?
I thought it was. I think it was. There used to be this big, gigantic planet that just blew apart, and that's what's made our universe.
I'm not getting into this discussion.
Well, it's better than talking about politics.
Oh God, no, please.
Yeah, no politics, please.
No, I won't bring it up at all. I get enough of that crap on YouTube. Doesn't matter what the video's about. Politics somehow rears its ugly head.
Oh, I know, it's terrible.
Yep.
You believe whatever you want to and just leave it off.
Yeah, believe what you want. It's not your job to convince somebody else to believe like you.
That's right.
I'm an agnostic, which means I don't know. And but when I get around like hardcore atheists and stuff that want to call people idiots because they believe in God and whatever, it's like, dude, I don't get what your problem is. Why do you care what somebody else believes?
Yeah. Well, there's a real grain of truth to that whole thing about there are no atheists in foxholes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, when you start getting shot at, man, you're praying to something to help you.
You're hoping something's going to save your ass. Yeah, I fell off of a cliff one time, and I was definitely praying on the way down.
Yeah,
when
you hit, you went, "Oh, you asshole!"
Yeah, especially when I hit head first on a rock and it fractured my skull. Wasn't too happy about it.
I did it, and I landed on my back. That hurt.
You've probably been where I fell off this cliff before. Up in Angeles. It's not Angeles Crest. It's Angeles Forest Highway by Hidden Springs.
I know where
I've been there, and no, I did not fall off that cliff.
Yeah, well, I did. We landed right on my head. Bam!
I didn't fall.
My
I jumped.
group actually went camping up there. And hey, Angeles Crest is where they've got the private shooting range.
Whenever you were in, I don't know where you went to elementary school. You said in Simi, right? Didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was living in L.A. and there's you probably seen it before, but right there where the Angeles Forest and Angeles Crest intersects, there's a L.A. Unified School District camp place called Clear Creek, I believe it's called. Okay. I did 6th grade. I did camping there. It was pretty cool.
Well, you know where Hummingbird Ranch is up in Simi?
I've heard of it.
Okay. It used to be a World War II rest and relaxation place. Just don't forget, we had LA Naval Base, and there was a couple.
What approximate area in the valley is it?
Goes straight north on Cooner.
Oh yeah, I know where that is exactly. Yeah, that's where Bedrock was. We used to hang out there.
Yeah. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with this.
You said there used to be something there.
It was a World War II R&R place, but no, they've turned it into homes. Now it's a whole housing tract.
Oh, wow.
But before that, that's where everybody used to go out, shooting, because it wasn't in the city. It was county, and county doesn't care if you're out there shooting guns.
Hi, Ironton Auditor. How you doing, Terry?
Terry's here. Woohoo!
Thank you for stopping by and saying hello.
All right, Logan, tell me
Terry.
what you think of this story. There's people that are saying that they think that the people that did Little House on the Prairie, a lot of them were infested with cancer because of the Santa Susana Field Laboratory.
No.
It's on the opposite side of the valley.
I was going to say, Little House on the Prairie was up in Tapo Canyon. Santa Susana Field Laboratory is up off my back porch.
Yeah.
Yeah, different part of the valley.
Or north of the Knolls and shit, north of all that area. Yeah, it's actually the Santa Susana Field Laboratory. To get there, if you're going through like Brandeis, it would be at the exact opposite end of Tapo Canyon.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember when Rocketdyne was there, and they used to test satellite engines, rocket engines. And
when I lived in Simi, they did it all the time.
You'd see this huge ass plume of white just going straight up, going, oh, and then if you had a pool in your backyard, you'd see the water ripple when they did this. That's how loud these things were. And that's why they had them up on a mountain when they set them off.
Yeah, they have the houses in Bell Canyon within just miles of that field laboratory. If you think of all those stories about how contaminated that place is, they wouldn't have houses that close to it.
Yeah. And then don't forget, man, the people who live in those canyons are nuts anyway.
Oh, hell yeah.
Don't forget, that's where they found Charles Manson.
Yep. And have you ever heard of the Fountains of Hope, I think it's called? It was on Box Canyon. It was another cult from the 50s and stuff. I forget what this dude's name was, but he looked just like Jesus. And Manson actually got a lot of his ideas from that guy. I'm trying to think of what his name is. Probably look it up. Fountains of Hope. The facility where it was all at was there. He was one of these ones that said that you could get married, but only he could screw your wife. And eventually some of his followers blew him up, and they killed themselves in the process.
Yeah, I can't think. I know exactly.
Trying to think of what his name is. He's got a...
Yeah, Tony's slapping her, like going, yep, I know who it is. I can't
think of his damn name.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. Like I said, he looked like Jesus.
Yeah.
I think maybe it wasn't Fountains of Hope. Fountains of something.
It wasn't Gary.
No, he had a weird name.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find it here by looking up Fountains of Hope, Box Canyon. I know somebody that used to live there. It was called Fountains of something, and I forget what I can't remember the dude's name. I mean, he was really ahead of his time. I mean, he looked like a total, like I said, he looked like Jesus, and he had all that stuff going. And he was the one, I think Manson.
Jesus followed you around Hollywood?
What's that?
I said, didn't you say Jesus followed you around Hollywood?
Yeah, well, we used to see him on Hollywood. He didn't follow me, but I used to see him every time I went there. I think he made himself known to me.
Oh, man.
He goes, there's a non-believer. I will make myself known to him. I'll sway him. Keep him from burning in hell for all eternity.
Hey, I was having a great conversation about tacos with Ginger Labret, and she decided to stay over on Triggered Limey's channel, so she loses out.
See if I can figure this out.
Mark, you are awful quiet, man. What's up with you, dude?
Probably fell asleep.
Yeah. He said it was 11 o'clock there.
I was just rolling a smoke.
Ooh. Notice I turned my camera off.
Maybe this is it. Doomsday
I
cult.
get better smoke than you do, Mark. Although, hey, I do have to say this.
Yeah,
as
that's
far as
illegal.
U.S. Customs is concerned, the best quality marijuana seeds came from Great Britain. You guys have got an incredible strain of stuff going on.
Okay, I found him. His name was Krishna Venta.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find out what the name of his cult was. He was a tripper, man. Fountains of the World, it was called, not Fountains of whatever the hell I said earlier. Yeah, it's in Box Canyon by the fire station. Still there.
I know exactly where that is.
They still have people, but they no longer follow his teachings anymore.
Thanks for stopping by, Aaron. Nice to see you.
It's like if the place in Waco didn't burn down, but they just
Hey,
arrested. They just killed that guy, whatever his name was, David Koresh. If they would just killed him and his followers said, "Yeah, he was pretty out there, wasn't he?"
Koresh? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that miniseries they did about him a couple years ago was pretty interesting, pretty enlightening.
He was a he was a special kind of something, wasn't he?
Yeah, he sure was. Well, he had the same idea as old Krishna Venta, but that's I guess
I don't know.
a lot of these cults do that. Yeah, you can get married, but I'm the only one who can screw your wife. Oh, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, remember Jim Jones? Here, drink the
Yeah.
tea.
Yeah, I heard Jim Jones kind of was into that kind of stuff too. But old Krishna Venta, he was way before any of them. Yeah, a couple of his followers decided to blow him up, and they blew themselves up. There's I just found a story. It says the bizarre story behind the suicide bombing of an LA cult, SoCal cult.
Yeah, that was fuck, man. This did not go according to plan, but mission accomplished.
Yeah, it happened in the 1950s. But he was the one, and as a matter of fact, I happen to know for a fact that Manson knew the people from that cult, and he had heard Krishna Venta had the same theory about the race war thing.
Hey,
Of course, I don't think Manson ever believed that shit. I think he just used that to control people.
I never met Charles Manson, but I've watched a lot of his stuff, being a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Manson was 100% batshit crazy. And he was also fucking brilliant. All right.
Yeah.
Don't get that. Crazy does not mean stupid.
I watched everything about his. I've read everything about him.
Yeah, I'm quite the Manson file myself.
I did actually get to meet one of the Manson girls at women's prison. She's the one who's not in solitary, or was. She's
the one of his followers. Her name is Patricia.
Yes, Patricia.
Krenwinkel.
I
she
actually
came up
met her
for parole and she was denied it.
Oh no, she died in prison.
No, she's still alive.
Susan Atkins is dead, and one of the other ones is dead, and Manson, of course, is dead.
Okay. Well,
Leslie Van Houten, I believe, is still alive, and possibly Krenwinkel. I'm not sure. I think another one of the women died. How many women were convicted?
3.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know Susan Atkins died, and they were saying once she died, Leslie Van Houten has been incarcerated longer than any other female in the state prison system.
Yeah, she's the one on death row. And she got the death penalty, and then as Manson.
None of them are on death row because they abolished the death. They abolished the death penalty after they were convicted. So she's
one of the ones who got the death penalty, and then they abolished the death penalty, and she's parked.
Patricia was the one that wrote something with the blood on the wall.
Well, the one I met was one hell of an artist. I gotta say that. And
I think that was Susan Atkins.
She used sepia charcoal for her art, and she was really good. she was also very, very scary to fucking meet.
I know it was Patricia something because I just read
Patricia
about it.
Krenwinkel is still alive.
Yeah, she's the one that came up for parole, and the judge.
Yeah, they've
denied it.
recommended a bunch of them for parole. Leslie Van Houten's still alive too. So the only ones that have died is Manson and Susan Atkins.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people believe that Tex Watson was the real mastermind behind the whole thing.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
either.
I read Helter Skelter too.
Yeah. You know, and there's people that will tell you that, that they just made that Helter Skelter up. Well,
No, no, they did not.
when now I think that Bugliosi did use that to convict him, but even at the trial, Manson insisted on speaking to the jury, but they wouldn't let him. But they let him speak to the judge and, the other people that was in there, and he totally basically confessed to the whole damn thing. He admitted he said, you don't understand Helter Skelter. So he brought it up himself. So there's no way you can say later that they made that shit up.
Opened the door.
And at that time, Bugliosi was like, yeah, let him talk. Let him talk. And the judge says, no, he's not going to say this shit in front of the jury. Because then he'll just come back on appeal and say, yeah, I tanked my own case by being an idiot.
I think the exact words from Bugliosi were, "No objection, Your Honor."
Yeah, I imagine they were. Yeah.
You guys
Bugliosi even admitted before he died that he manipulated the thing because he says, come on, nobody's going to really believe that those people are that gullible to fall for that bullshit.
You guys
But
ever follow or read anything about Pazuzu?
About who?
I've heard the name.
Pazuzu. Oh, he was.
Was it like a cult thing or something?
No, he just let anybody and everybody stay at his house, no matter what age.
I've heard the name before. I don't know what
Yeah.
it's associated with.
Was
he associated with Manson or something?
No. He did a lot of killings, a lot of drugs, a lot of very young girls there. When the police went there, they said the place smelled so bad. They dug up bodies in the backyard. And it's something if you bring it up and you read about it, YouTube has some things about them.
I just realized where I'd heard from Pazuzu from. That was the demon in The Exorcist.
Yeah, but this guy's name was Pazuzu. And he was...
Yeah, I'm coming across the figure, and I'm coming across The Exorcist, but I'm sure somewhere in there I'll look it up and find out, that there's somebody that took that name and decided to be an idiot. Oh, there it is, right? A cannibal murderer's putrid house. He's an Arab.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, there he is, right there.
You get a chance to read on that.
I will. I've been infatuated with shit like that. I love to hear weirdos.
So am I.
Hey, Tucker.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Yeah, Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man. Do not tell Jail Warren and Johnny O that you and I went to junior high right around the corner from the Poltergeist house.
Who is this you're talking about? I don't know these people.
Warren and Johnny O.
Johnny O, I've heard the name.
Okay, he's the channel owner of the Plot Hole. Jail is Bridge the Divide.
Oh.
They're working on a huge movie project right now, and if anyone's listening, go vote, goddammit.
I vote twice every day.
I'm voting as much as I can. Anyway, these guys are big.
2131.
So yeah, don't tell me.
Wait one a day, but I can use my phone and my laptop. So he gets 2 a day from me.
Some of the antics of the anti-frauditor community really turned me off a long time ago. But I've met a lot of people that I still stay associated with through the anti-frauditor community, like Tawny for one.
Hey,
Yeah.
J.L. Warren is not an anti-frauditor.
No.
Okay.
He's an atheist who likes challenging people's belief in God, and he picks up flat earthers too.
Okay.
Yeah,
J.L. Warren
Warren's pretty
actually
cool.
went nose to nose with Mr. Jose Maria de Castro
Mhm.
and filmed it.
And
So-
it was fucking glorious.
Wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Whatever
God.
happened with that?
Nothing. Actually,
Okay.
somebody asked JL that
Pretty
on
much,
one of his live streams recently, and he goes, "I haven't heard anything about this." He's just saying, "I got no notification."
Yeah. I figured so.
Yeah, but and Johnny O from the plot hole is a horror buff who they're working on a movie right now, and also likes the anti-frauditor community. So he shows up in the chat rooms with all of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of him before. I don't
He
know.
also has
what
Weekend
context.
Horror.
Yes,
Yes,
Weekend Horror.
Weekend Horror.
That's always interesting.
He's on Discord with that.
You know, and I am not a horror movie fan at all.
Yeah.
But I dated a lot of girls who are. So yes, I can appreciate the genre.
Well,
My very first horror movie that got me connected. I was 9 years old, 1974. Went to the El Monte Drive-In. My dad took me and my brother, and we saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I was 9, and I would have been hooked and obsessed ever since.
I remember when the See Me Drive-In used to show those all-night horror movies, and one of them was called The Drive-In Massacre, and guess where it was filmed? At the See Me Drive-In.
Yeah.
So it was cool to watch a movie about a drive-in massacre at the drive-in it was filmed at. Yeah, they'd show Dr. Fives and all kinds of grade B. The one that really got me was Blood Feast. It's just so ridiculous. Yeah, I think the first, it wasn't a horror movie, but the first thing that really scared the crap out of me that I can still remember to this day was the episode of Twilight Zone with William Shatner with the thing on the wing. Yeah, I was just a little kid. I seen that thing come to the window. I about shit myself. I probably did shit myself. That's scary as hell.
Best Twilight Zone episodes ever.
Yeah, definitely. One of my other favorites is Frisbee, the guy that tells all the bullshit stories, and he gets taken up in the flying saucer, and they're gonna take him to their planet and put him on put him on display. And so he figured, okay, I'm screwed. So he breaks out his harmonica and starts playing.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, let him go. He's got a device that lets out a death noise. And so he gets off the ship and he goes back to the gas station where he hangs out and pumps gas. And he starts telling his story. And since he's such a bullshitter, everybody there just figures it's another one of his bullshit stories. He got in that predicament because he told these aliens that he invented the rear-wheel drive, rear-engine sports car or something like that. They go, he must be the smartest man on earth.
The time one.
The time
You
one.
know, the stopwatch. Hit the stopwatch and everything would pause.
Oh, yes.
I can't remember.
Was that the one with, damn, what's that actor's name? Orson Bean? Where he drove the old car?
Yeah,
That was the we don't allow dogs here. That was the man.
No, that's Arthur Honeycutt.
Oh,
He's in that one.
You remember that one?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, my dog didn't want to come in here. Well, my dog didn't want to go in there. Of course not. Dogs can sense that. That wasn't the pearly gates. That was hell.
Dogs in hell.
Yeah, that was the other place. Trying to suck you in. Now, one of them was where somebody, I think the one you're talking about, is that where the guy threw a coin or something and it landed on its edge? And until it fell over, he
remember that one
or something?
No,
There was a lot of good ones.
He had real thick glasses on.
Are you talking about Burgess Meredith?
And he was in the book.
Yeah.
With the books, and then he broke his glasses.
That was a sad one.
Oh.
Another classic, To Serve Man. It's a cookbook.
I know all of the old.
Oh, come on, man. Soylent Green. We know that one. It's a cook, man. It's a cookbook.
To Serve Man, it was called.
They're
trying to decipher it, and his secretary runs up to him as he's getting on the thing, goes, "We just deciphered the first page. It's a cookbook." And them aliens were quite nice up to that point. I like the ones where there was the biker aliens too.
Hey! I'm still freaking rooting for the green girls on Star Trek. Okay, those are my favorite.
I don't remember that.
Oh, really?
I wasn't a big fan of Star Trek. There's a few episodes. I'm
Batman from the 60s. Yolanda Craig was Batgirl and the green chick on Star Trek.
Yeah, I know quite a bit about Star Trek. My dad made me and my brother watch it when we were younger. So
yeah, but we didn't watch it at my house. My mom don't like science fiction. My favorite episodes Star Trek are the one where they go back and the planet of gangsters. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is when they go back and they redo the shootout at the OK Corral.
You're mixing up the original series in Next Generation.
No, they did both of those on both of them. In the one where they were at the planet full of gangsters, they kept telling Spock and Kirk, "Give us some of those fancy heaters."
Yeah, that one.
And eventually they zapped them with one of their beams, and they said, "Okay, we give up."
Yeah, but the OK Corral was Worf, his son, and Deanna Troi showed up as the gunslinger.
They must have had another one then, because in the first one, they found out that as long as you didn't believe that you were shot or whatever, that you'd be fine. But of course, that was after one of the no-name side people was already dead. But like Bones, and it was probably Bones and Spock and the Captain Kirk. They realized that if they didn't believe they were shot, they weren't actually shot. It was some type of like superior being, when it really wasn't. Some mind control crap. The Triffids one was kind of cool too.
Oh, Trouble with Triffids. Yeah, I did like that one.
And then the one where he fought the guy out there at Vasquez Rocks, the lizard-looking dude.
It was the Gorn.
Yeah, the lizard-looking dude.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember when we moved up to Lancaster, I go, boy, that looks familiar over there. What is that rock formation? Oh, it's been in a bunch of movies.
They did a Big Bang Theory episode at that same location. And they had them all in Next Generation costumes.
I've seen a lot of movies filmed out there. And one was supposed to be Arizona, but it was filmed there. And then, of course, they did the sequel to the Flintstones was filmed out there. Those Flintstones houses were out there for a long time after that.
Okay. Hang on. Tani, I'm going to need your permission to do this because you're the channel owner.
What you need to do?
May I drop a link to a picture of Yvonne Craig, both as Batgirl and the green chick from Star Trek?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and it's safe for work, guys. Ooh, that's a big link, and it's not going to work.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Vaughn Craig was a hottie.
Never mind. No, but seriously, if you do Yvonne Craig, Batgirl, and green chick from Star Trek, you'll see the picture I'm talking about.
Yeah, if I just do her IMDb, I'm sure it will give me the episode of Star Trek she was in.
No, I'm seriously. If you put it in the search bar on Google, like I just said,
Yeah.
you will get a picture of both her as Batgirl and the green chick from Star Trek.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
By the way, that was an Orion slave girl. And Star Trek Enterprise, for all 3 seasons, had a whole thing with the Orions. And they took that morsel and ran with it.
Could hardly tell that was her as the green girl.
No kidding. She wasn't wearing a whole lot of clothes in that episode.
You know, I saw a Rocky Horror Picture Show the other night, and I was looking into the sort of sequel called Shock Treatment.
Uh-huh.
And I'm trying to think, the one actress that played Columbia, she looked so much different in that Shock Treatment. She was such an attractive woman, and I didn't really find her all that attractive as Columbia. I thought she was kind of funky looking.
You know what? They are really pushing the Rocky Horror Picture Show right now because it's October.
Oh, yeah.
We're coming up on Halloween. Tim Curry looks nothing like he did as the sweet transvestite.
Yeah, he's in really bad shape now. He's he ain't gonna be around much longer.
I actually met him at UCLA Medical Center. Me and my wife at the time were going in to get her an MRI. She blew a disc in her back. Actually, she blew 2 discs in her back. And Tim Curry was sitting there waiting to get an MRI.
What Tim Curry playing? Maybe sounds familiar.
Played Dr. Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Played a few more things, but not anything he was well known for.
Are you kidding? Have you not seen The Hunt for Red October and he was the doctor?
I've seen the movie, but I didn't really remember that.
Okay, now I know who he is.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, the guy is a very accomplished actor.
Oh, no, I know he's done a lot of acting, but if you say Tim Curry, I just think Dr. Frankenfurter.
The dude did a full-length feature movie wearing a garter belt and heels and pulled it off, and then he played the voice of reason in a Sean Connery movie. You know, it's like, wow, the guy's got range.
Well, old Barry Bostwick there that played Brad Majors, he was a quite accomplished actor. Then you got Susan Sarandon, of course. Quite an accomplished actress.
And putting actors' names to their faces. That's why I have to find out where what movie they were in, and I can, because I'm real bad with the names.
Susan Sarandon did a whole bunch of movies.
Her name sounds familiar.
Did she not do Thelma and Louise? Wasn't she one of them?
No, she did, and she was the one driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she was quite the looker when she still looks all right for her age. It's got to be like 70 years old.
Oh, yeah.
No, I still have a crush on
Raquel Welch.
Well, always, but no, Dame Maggie Dench. You know, she's pushing 90, and she still looks freaking rock hard. I love that lady.
I have no idea who she is.
To get a good idea, I'd have to look her up for sure. I know I've heard of her for sure.
Yeah, she's a British actress.
What's the other
007? What's the problem?
I'm sorry, what?
What's the problem, 007?
What's the problem, 007?
What's the other British actress that was did a lot of I believe she was in Caligula, and now she's an older woman.
Dude, be careful. We don't want to get Tani kicked off of freaking YouTube.
I won't start going into detail what goes on in that movie, but she was in it. But she didn't. I don't think she had any graphic, real sex in it like the other ones. What is that woman's name? Come on, you're Mr. Britisher there. You got to know who I'm talking about. I think she was in one of the Fast and Furious movies. She's a well-known English actress. Like I said, she was in Caligula. Can't think of her damn name. She was like a model when she was, looked like a model anyway. Whenever she was like in the 70s and stuff. She's an older woman now. So I'll find her here in about 2 seconds.
Hey, did you guys know they canceled the remake of Magnum P.I.?
No, I did not know that. I didn't watch it, even though I really loved it. Helen Mirren's who I'm talking about. She was the looker when she was young, boy.
She still is, too.
Yeah, she looks, for a woman her age, she looks fantastic.
Hey. Dude.
Malcolm McDowell, he's also a kind of an odd character. He kind of reminds me a bit of Tim Curry because, he got his start in I guess he'd done more acting.
Roddy?
Huh?
Have you met Malcolm's brother, Roddy?
Yeah, well aware of him. But, one of the first things I ever seen Malcolm McDowell in was Clockwork Orange. That's a weird-ass movie.
Yeah, I still have nightmares about the whole Beethoven thing with his eyelids open. Oh, still.
Oh, yes. And I know I brain farted what you're talking about. Yeah, whenever they were torturing him. Yeah, that was some heavy shit.
And that was what, 1960
something? Yeah.
When it came out?
Yeah. No time for the old in out now.
Hey, do you know Roddy McDowell actually gave Johnny O a shout out?
Cool.
To help push the vote for his Insomniac Pictures movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Apparently that Dan guy got a temporary restraining order on Chile, according to Lyle DeCastro.
Wait,
what happened?
Matt, what we watched on Mandy's stream yesterday, Chile assaulting that guy.
Oh, yeah.
That was today. Oh, it was maybe yesterday where you're at. It was today here.
Lyle said that the guy in there, Dan, got a temporary restraining order against Chile.
Really?
I still say that guy was in cahoots with him.
I don't know.
Dan Clemente, I think was his name.
Okay.
Sounds like an alias to me. Dan Clemente, my ass.
Was it like
sounds very similar to San Clemente. Okay, you're probably right. It might be an alias.
He was that guy in the video that kept harassing Chili until Chili chased him down the street, and then that other guy stepped up like, I'm your Huckleberry.
Wait, whoa! Chili chased somebody?
Yeah.
Remember him getting knocked on his ass by a right boob.
This guy that was antagonizing him the whole time said he was a friend of Kate's. At the end of the video, all of a sudden, Chili gets all mad and starts chasing the dude down the street.
You told me about that, and then a dude in a white hat stepped out.
Yeah, he stepped out, and he says, I'll fight you. And then Chili goes, I don't want to fight. It's like,
sudden,
boy, you certainly changed your mood there, buddy. That's what really made me think it was a setup with the other guy. And that dude looked like he was on something, man. His eyes just didn't look right.
Hey, I got to ask this though. Do you think the guy in the white hat was in cahoots with what was going on, or was
Hell no, he wanted to beat old homeboy's ass.
That I like that. That's
Yeah.
a good story. Read
He
it.
was one of your typical Hollywood Boulevard homeless people. He was wearing ripped up jeans and shit. You know, he was probably out there.
Those guys, don't fuck with those people.
Hell no, they're crazy.
Most of them are vets. Don't fuck with those people.
Well, I went down there on the Metrolink. I was living in Panorama City, and my girlfriend lived in Lancaster, and she met me on the Metrolink. And I went down there, and they started harassing us at one of those outside cafes and shit. And I'm not a small man. And I stood up and said, you know what? I'll beat the living shit out of you. I don't care if you're homeless or not. And then a couple of other people kind of walked up and says, we'll back him up if it comes down. The homeless people decided to disperse at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to act crazier than them.
Yeah. So I don't care if you're homeless. You don't scare me any.
But they usually back down if you start
A lot of people, if you stand up to them, they will immediately back down. They just like to intimidate people. I'm crazy. I'm crazier.
Guys, I actually met a frauditor. And I know a lot of people don't like him, but he puts a lot of people on that are in my area. Dr. Dave.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a video of a dude that I shit you not had an altercation with at my 7-Eleven where I go do a beer run. And this guy is dumber than dog shit. He looked at me. What happened was, if you can see my icon picture, that was my dog Micah, and she was in the back seat, and I'm going to 7-Eleven to go pick up some beer. And asshole is on his bike in the left lane of a 4-lane, 45-mile-an-hour street in town. Okay, which means, dude, drive to the right. His girlfriend was over to the right. I made it to 7-Eleven faster than him, picked up my beer, paid for it, got back in my car, and guess who shows up at 7-Eleven? Girlfriend, Big Mouth. And Big Mouth says, you got something to say? Because as I was passing him, my dog is barking out the back window, and she said, woof, 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 woof. And I said, shut up, asshole. Lay down. It's an asshole on a bike. And he thought I was cussing at him. And he said, you got something to say? It's like, you know what? Opened the car door and said, yes. As a matter of fact, I do. Yeah, guess what? He rode his bike away.
I was going to say, yeah, you just got to act crazier than them.
Is this the closest 7-Eleven to your house?
Yes, it is.
I won't say where it is, but I've made beer runs there several times.
Royal and Sycamore, that's where it's at.
Yep. You remember the Golden Crust Pizza that was right there across the street? A friend of mine owned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good pizza place.
It's a fucking Shell station now.
Ah. Yep. I lived up there off of Elizondo and
stop saying the streets, dude. You're fucking.
Well, that one's not near you. You just said the major intersection.
That was not the major intersection.
Okay. It used to be when I lived there.
Where I go buy beer.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to find me, yes, go to Sycamore and Royal.
Yeah, you'll find him.
You'll find me. Good luck with
your corner.
From what he's told me so far, I could probably knock on his front door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you live right there. Come on out.
Yeah.
How much money do you make on that corner?
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said, how much money do you make on that corner?
How much money do I make on that corner? I don't make any money on that corner, man. I'm spending money on that corner. That's where I get my beer.
So you're a cheap trick.
Yeah.
Not only am I cheap, but I am good too.
Oh, good Lord.
Mark, did you really? You knew what you were walking into, dude.
Yeah, I kind of.
Did you not see me on Limey stream earlier? Ginger and I were having a BDSM relationship, okay?
I didn't see any of
We
that.
talked a whole lot about torture cuffs. And her favorite brand is Smith & Wesson.
Yeah, somebody had a theory that Chili's real dad was a cop and he abused him as a child, and that's why he feels the way he does about a lot of the things he. That makes sense.
You know what? Chili is absolutely known to never be able to tell the truth.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
And he has said that his father was a Colombian drug cartel guy.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go with somewhere near the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're probably right. His dad probably was a cop.
Probably beat his ass all the time.
Yeah, why would dad beat his son's ass?
Because he's a piece of shit.
Chili has
Of course, then,
everything.
some like people are just that way.
Hey, my dad beat my ass for a couple of very good reasons. Guess what? I don't do those things anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got whooped when I was a kid, but I mean, my father wasn't abusive though.
Neither was mine.
But I've seen a lot of people that are just downright. My mother was abusive, but my dad just wouldn't beat us every time my mom wanted her to.
No, my dad was not abusive. My stepfather was abusive. And that's where I actually learned the full-on true meaning of what it means to be a redheaded stepchild. Oh, no, that I learned how to fight.
Well, my mom and dad stayed together till I was like 20 years old. And my mom's first boyfriend lipped off to me one time, and I picked him up off the ground by his neck. So he never talked back to me again after that.
My stepfather threatened to put me in the hospital when I was 16. And I stood up and said, nope, I'm tired of taking your shit. Put me in the hospital, you little bitch. Get up, show me what you got. That was a real conversation I had with my stepfather. You know what he did?
He stayed there, sat down.
Sat on his ass.
Yeah. My dad was pretty cool, you know. We got along fine. And when I was going into high school, he told me I had to get a haircut. And I told him no. And he said, if you don't get in the car, I'll put you in the car and take you down there. I said, I'll just beat up the barber. So he lost his temper and he punched me in the mouth. Oh, yeah. I was on the football team, man. My dad, and I'm a lot bigger than my dad. He wasn't going to whoop my ass. He wasn't going to put me in the car. He wasn't going to do none of that shit.
That's barber schools are done in prison, right?
No, he was going to take me to a regular barber shop. Oh, I was, a little over 6 foot tall, 180 pounds, lifting weights every day. You know, he was not, I don't think I was too worried about the barber. Anyway, old man lost his temper, punched me in the mouth. I spit a little blood out on his shirt and said, if that's the best you can do, don't ever do it again. And he didn't. I wouldn't have hit my dad. If he'd have hit me first, I might have defended myself. But
I actually used to plan ways to kill my stepfather.
yeah, I could imagine. I thought about killing him.
No, he was an evil man. And I still paid for his fucking funeral.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, well, hey, at least I got the receipt. I know where he is.
I don't think my girlfriend's adopted son cared much for me when we were living together. But after I moved away, he saw me on Facebook and he says, hey, man, I want to apologize for being such an asshole to you. When you were, and my mom, my stepmom, whatever he calls her, were together. He goes, You know, I realize now that everything you did, you were just trying to help me out. You were actually trying to protect me from my adopted mother. I said, yeah, man, it's all right. I was a kid once. We have a pretty good relationship now, and he realizes that his adopted mother only adopted him for that $800 a month check she was getting, which sucks.
800.
Yeah, he was getting survival benefits because he had been adopted by his great-grandfather, and his great-grandfather died. He got his survivor benefits, which was $800 a month. And then she got another $800 a month supplemental Social Security, and that's how she lived. Yeah, my oldest brother, he never worked long enough to get regular Social Security, but he eventually whined enough where they gave him supplemental. So he lived on $800 a month, or whatever it's up to now, probably not a whole lot more. But he got it back in the 2000s when he first started getting it.
You know what? I actually got a SNAP card. And for those of you who don't live in California, SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
I think that's a federal program.
Okay, well, AKA food stamps.
Yeah.
Got on it in 2016 when the doctor said, you just retired today. Never once spent a dime of that. So, yes, I've been on welfare, and no, did not take advantage of it.
Whenever I signed up for the VRAP program, it's a veterans rehabilitation, some bullshit. It was sending you to college. They give you $1,500 a month. And while I was waiting to go into school, I had moved back to Southern California. It was like 2 months. 2 months before I got
$400 from the goddamn GI Bill.
Well, they gave you $1,500. You could do with it what you wanted to.
That program.
They just reinstated it here again. A couple. It still might be open, but it's only for veterans that don't have regular GI benefits and shit like that. That's all it's for.
Oh.
But okay. When I moved back to Southern California, it was like 2 months before school started, and I went down to the what the hell ever else welfare office. I guess I know what the fuck it was called. I went down there to apply for something, and they says, "Oh, we can give you, since you're have signed up for this program, we can give you food stamps and cash for the next 2 months without you having to do anything except just say you want it." Okay, I'll take it. What the hell? That's about the only other than I did while I was waiting for my Social Security disability, I did get paid 4 months of supplemental Social Security, which was like $800 a month. I used a down payment on a truck. It was hard.
I can't get welfare here. I can't get food stamps either. We make $100 more a month than that's allowed, so we can't get it. And got all these scums around here.
Oh yeah,
that get it and take advantage of it.
They know how to work the system.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Makes me so mad.
The last time I had a full-time job, I had supposedly gotten a promotion, and I had to train somebody to take my job. And they hired this guy, and he didn't want the job at all. And he told me that him and his family and everybody else in his neighborhood, they were all on welfare, and they had this scam going where they said that they took care of each other's children, and they made money by getting money for daycare. Mm-hmm. And he said, everybody in my neighborhood does it. He goes, I don't want this damn job. And I tried to help him out. I told my boss not to hire him. In a second, first chance he gets, he don't want the job anyway. He goes, I'm going to hire him anyway, just to piss him off.
Hiring someone who does not need the job is either a really great idea or a really bad idea.
Well, he said he did it because he knew the guy was manipulating the system, and since he found out, he was pissed off about it. He's going to offer him the job, so if he turned it down, he'd lose his welfare. Why an able-bodied man was getting welfare anyway is beyond me. It just don't seem right, But they were, and I ended up getting. We got into it over something at work one day about they were abusive towards me, and I just said, "Hey, man, I tell you what, I can either go hire a lawyer and sue your ass off, or you can just lay me off, cash out my retirement fund, and don't argue whenever I apply for what's that shit they give you, unemployment.
Yeah.
Don't argue about the unemployment, and I won't hassle you anymore. I'll just walk out the door." They said, "Okay, that sounds fair." And boss went to shake my hand. I said, "Dude, I wouldn't piss in your asshole if your guts were on fire."
Mhm.
2 weeks later, that dude that got the job contacts me and wants me to testify for him that the boss allowed the other employees to call him the N-word. And I told him, I says, "Hey, okay, I didn't hear him, but I will say that I heard you complain about it and they didn't do anything about it, but I'm not going to lie." I said, because I believe in karma.
Yeah.
And he had a lawyer meet me at a cafe, and I told him exactly what I would say. I says, "I heard him complain about it and the boss didn't do anything about it." And I says, "If that'll help you, then fine." He goes, "Okay." So he writes it all down and he tells me to sign it. I don't think he thought I would read it. He wrote down on there, "I heard this guy." It's like, "Nah, dude, I ain't signing this bullshit." I said, "I told you I wouldn't sign it, man." I said, I despise those people. I said, I don't hate them, but I don't like them either. But I'm not going to lie.
Punch that guy in the face for, trying to do a slick little move on you like that.
I just called him a piece of shit in front of everybody in the restaurant. "You're a piece of shit."
I'd have broke my knuckle on his head.
Well, he turned around that other dude and he goes, "Hey, man, without this guy testifying for you, you ain't got a case." And he walked out the door. The other dude was like, "Come on, man, you can't do that for me." I said, "Why would I do that for you?"
No, I'm not going to lie for you.
Yeah, screw
Fuck
you.
off.
I said, "My life sucks enough without getting karma for this shit."
No kidding. That would be perjury, too, if you did.
Yeah.
That comes with a jail sentence.
Now, I have no doubt in my mind that the other dude that he's talking about, because me and this dude used to get into it. And one time I was just like, "Man, I don't want to get fired, but I ain't going to take this guy's bullshit no more." He says one more word to me and I'm punched him in the mouth. And so I decided, maybe I've been going about this the wrong way. So I just got right in his face and followed him all around the shop until he finally pushed me. And I turned around and the boss's stepson was standing right there. And I said, "You saw that, didn't you?" And he goes, "Yep." Whap! One punch took him out. He goes crying to the boss, "He hit me. He hit me." He goes, "He put his hands on me." And he turns to his stepson. He goes, "You see it?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Did he put his hands on him?" He goes, "Yep."
Yep.
He goes, "Well, I can fire both of you, or you both can just go back to work." And the dude's like, "We'll just go back to work." I just laughed at him. "Ha ha ha! You got punched in the mouth." He's a big old dude too, man, and he was such a wuss. He talked all kinds of shit, but I knew he was a wuss. I could tell by looking at him. Like, "Yeah, I'm gonna punch you, and you ain't gonna do shit about it."
I got punched in the mouth when I shot my mouth off. It was in San Antonio, Texas. At Lackland Air Force Base. And yep, I earned all 5 knuckles.
Only time I ever really got taken out was a dude gut shotted me once.
Guess what? Never said that phrase again. No, seriously, that one knocked me off my feet and I landed on my butt.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to this guy. He skidded across the floor a few feet too.
No, this was 1970s pile carpet during the mid 80s. They don't update the barracks that much anymore.
The rug burn on your ass?
I didn't slide. Yeah, it's that kind of carpet that will definitely give you rug burns on your knees.
I had a van back in the early
Swear to
90s.
God, dude, if you say shag carpeting next, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
It had shag carpeting everywhere. Roof, walls. The whole back end of the damn thing was shag carpeting. It was cool.
My
It
God.
was cool as shit.
I bet
Oh,
it
yeah, I
smelled
remember
like
shag carpet.
And like every other van back then, its nickname was the Love Machine.
I bet it smelled like spilled bong water too.
Yeah, most of the time. And mildew.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I couldn't get it smogged. You know how it is trying to smog an old car in California. I couldn't get it smogged, so I put it down on the street corner.
Hey,
$750 or best offer as is, won't pass smog.
guess what? My truck just passed the 20-year mark. I don't have to get it smogged anymore in California.
Oh, they doing that now?
Yes.
Oh man,
And that's gonna save me a fucking fortune every year.
I had a one owner Firebird last time I lived there, and I only moved out here in 2015, into 2014. And I had a one owner Firebird, and it was a 94, and it wouldn't pass smog. And I waited till the tags ran out, and then I sold it to somebody. And then they tried to come after me for the smog, and I says, no. When I wrote you that bill of sale that I kept a copy of that says, as is, I don't have to pay for the smog. He thought he got me on the because in California you're responsible for the smog unless you say as is or for parts or something like that on the bill of sale. You're stuck.
As is the word that you want to use if you don't want to have to deal with any repercussions later.
Yeah.
I don't care if you've got a cherry red 67 Chevy that is smoking hot. When you sell it, you say as is.
Yep.
And it's all on you, bro.
Yep. But if your car has to be smogged and it doesn't pass smog, you can come back on the person that sold it to you and gig them, guys, because I've seen it done.
And you just said the G word, gig. I know exactly what that means, and you're right. That's what you put down as is.
Yep. But yeah, it was still like 1976, just a few years ago. So I guess that was a few years ago now.
76, dude. You're getting the old man mentality going, no, that was just yesterday.
No, I meant it was still 1976 in 2014. That was you still had to get your car smogged if it was newer than a 1976. I don't know when they went to this 20-year thing, but probably not as many cars parked on the street now as there was back then.
I think they did that around 2014.
Yeah, it figures.
No, and it's all in the California Vehicle Code. And if you've got a historical vehicle, which also is older than 20 years, and you get that plate, you get special parking privileges too.
Well, they don't have vehicle inspections or smog inspections here in Florida. They also do not have state taxes. And if you buy a car and you're driving it home from where you bought it and it's not got tags on it or insurance or any of that shit, they'll just let you slide if they think you're telling the truth. They don't care. They let a lot of shit slide here in Florida, which is kind of cool, actually. They just don't hassle people.
Unless you're Jeremy DeWitt.
Oh yeah, but he brought that shit on himself. I've told you before, I actually saw him in Daytona Beach one time. I was on a bike run, and I think it was the day he was doing that Corvette thing.
Oh Jesus!
Where he closed down the freeway on ramp. So
no, you didn't tell me about this, but
yeah.
Please continue. I'm gonna go get a beer.
Oh, on ramp.
I can hear you all the way down to the fridge.
Okay. Yeah, he's just a security guard. He ain't got no right to be closing down the freeway. No security guard does, but he did it. Yeah, most of the crap he was doing was illegal. Do you know that cop though, the one that busted him for for his pepper ball gun, that dude ended up, I believe he got fired from the police department there in Oviedo or whatever the hell it's called.
Really?
Last I heard, he was appealing, and it looked like he was going to win his case. But yeah, somehow they said Jeremy DeWitt had some type of information through that girlfriend of his what he called his side piece.
Yeah.
He had some dirt on somebody in the police department. That's why they kept letting him slide for a lot of the crap he was doing until he finally just, pissed off the wrong person. I wonder if that dude's getting out of jail anytime soon.
He was supposed to, and he turned around and got arrested.
That doesn't surprise me.
He didn't even make it out the front door.
That doesn't surprise me. I know that somebody did a video of him and that he had a cell phone while he was in jail, and they said that was illegal.
Yeah, it is.
I want to know who smuggled in the cell phone.
Probably a cop. When I was doing time in downtown, the trustee dude that I worked for, we got put on somebody did something during when they had the store. They had store like twice a week. Somebody pissed them off, so they said no store for 2 weeks. So he took advantage, and he took me to he went to a cigarette store and bought like 40 cartons of cigarettes, and he made arrangements for people to smuggle them into the thing for me, and I was selling the cigarettes for him, and I get a little cut out of it, but I was selling them for like $5 a pack or whatever, and that was, I don't remember how much cigarettes were going for at that time, but nowhere near $5 a pack on the outside. He was making a pretty penny on these cigarettes. Of course, this guy was always doing that kind of stuff. He was a pretty, well, he didn't, he would never smuggle drugs or anything like that into the jail, but he would smuggle candy and pastries. He'd go by one of those Dolly Madison Weber bread stores, and he'd buy a whole bunch of donuts and
those on LA Avenue, dude.
Remember? Yeah, there used to be one like by Sequoia in LA Avenue.
It was a Hostess outlet store.
Yeah.
You know what it is now? It's a hydroponics store.
Hey, is Green Acres, I think it was called, is that still there?
Green Acres is there, and they opened up a restaurant in the same parking lot, and they do a barbecue every freaking Saturday.
Oh. That reminds me of Charlie Brown Farms up in Little Rock. They have the same kind of a setup going out there. If you've ever gone out through Palmdale and shit, well, not actually through Palmdale, but through the high desert to get out to Vegas, you drove right by that place.
Hey, you ain't much older than me, bro. You know they used to take us out for pumpkins on a field trip.
Oh, yeah. Up in Bouquet Canyon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pumpkin patch?
Yep.
PUNKINPATCH. Pumpkin patch.
Yeah, that place also sells ceramic goodies and stuff whenever they're not doing the pumpkin patch thing. It's right at the bottom of Bouquet Canyon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, pumpkins are seasonal, so.
Did you ever get up into Bouquet Canyon?
Not anymore, no.
Yeah. After I moved away, I found out the Big Oaks Lodge burned down. I used to like to hang out there. It's like to hang out there. When I was a kid, there was all kinds of cool places to hang out on Bouquet Canyon. There was the falls. There was all kinds of stuff. Now it's all closed down because people tear it all up, litter it all up, destroy it, graffiti.
Do you remember the Indian caves?
I've heard of them.
It's north end of Cooner, and I told you that Hummingbird Ranch became.
Yeah, that's what we called Bedrock. Yeah, that was the Indian caves.
Yeah, up in there, if you go a little more north, there is a waterfall up there, and it doesn't run a whole lot of water because, Southern California, we're in a drought.
Of course.
But if you look at it on Google Maps, it's the only green spot in easy 100 square miles.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And as a matter of fact, a kid I went to junior high school with went hiking with a buddy of mine and decided to go hiking in cowboy boots right after it rained, fell down that canyon, broke his back, and I actually called 911 because I'm the Boy Scout who knows how to read a map. And I'm like, you got a helicopter? And I'm like, I got coordinates for you. And I'm like, who are you? And like,
I'm Eagle Scout, Logan Sandman.
I'm the guy who knows where this idiot is. So then I actually had to call up the principal to our school because he got rushed to the hospital and he broke his back. And his parents were back in Ohio visiting family, and he needed surgery. Otherwise, he was going to be paralyzed. So since my mom was a teacher in town, she had the teacher's directory. I got the principal, called him up, and I'm like, you want to help save a kid's legs? Let's go. And he came out, opened up the office door, got we can let the principal do, medical decisions on our kid letter. And we went over to Adventist Hospital, and he still has full functionality of every appendage on his body these days.
Your mom was a school teacher back then?
Yep.
My mom worked for the superintendent of schools in Simi Valley. She might have even known her.
I have no doubt they did. My cousin, my mom's niece, took over my mom's classroom when mom retired.
Yeah, whenever Mrs. Tunick called for my parents to come down to the high school.
I know Mrs. Tunick.
Yeah. She was surprised to see my mother. She goes, "Don't you work at for the superintendent?" She goes, "Yes, I am his personal secretary."
Oh man.
She thought she was going to bully my parents, and she didn't work out well for her.
I know her son Steve too.
I was asking, brain farting on her name. Who's our other your wannabe girlfriend?
My wannabe girlfriend?
Yeah, she's another Simi Valleyite that I actually met you through.
Oh no, she's not my wannabe girlfriend. She's my neighbor. That's Crippled Cat.
Okay. She said she knew Mr. Hibbets. Didn't you say?
I remember Mr. Hibbets.
Yeah. Jesus. What a train wreck that guy was.
He was my math teacher.
He was actually the president of the School Teachers Association, one of them ones, the local version of it or whatever. It's like, how could this idiot be anything?
I remember this guy would give us assignments, and I shit you not, he'd sit at that desk in front of the classroom, read his paperback novel, and rip every page out when he got done with it.
Well, he couldn't control any of us, and he just sat there with his head down all the time, hoping we didn't kill each other.
Well, he got a little more froggy, and I remember he grabbed this one kid that I actually did get into a fight with, grabbed him by the throat and threw him against the locker. And we didn't see him for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they brought in a substitute teacher, and I'll tell you what, that substitute teacher, he said, Mr. Hibbets had a nervous breakdown because of you, and I'm not going to take none of your shit. And you screw with me, and I'll fuck you up, that kind of thing. It's like, okay.
Do you remember?
You look like you can do it, too.
Hey, do you remember Senora Ruiz? at Valley View?
No, I
She
do
was
not.
a Spanish teacher.
No, I took typing instead of Spanish.
She was Colombian. And my best friend in the class was this very severely birth defected, missing legs, missing arms, had webbed fingers guy. And he had a sense of humor. Oh, man. He had this full-on artificial leg up to his hip. And he goes, I'm going to go fuck with Senora Ruiz. He undid the strap. And he went up and says, hey, I got a question. How do you conjugate this? And he kind of, wiggled his stump. And the leg fell out of his pant leg. She looked down. He looked down. He looked her dead in the eye. She looked him dead in the eye. And he went, ah! And she went, ah! And ran out of the classroom. And the next thing you know, we got the vice principal in the classroom going, Richard, put your leg back on, sit down.
I saw a video recently where this guy's riding his motorcycle in the canyon. He sees another biker down on the side of the road. He goes, oh, shit, man, his leg's broken. And he's going, hey, man, can you help me sit up? He goes, I don't think you should sit up. And he's like, why? I need to put my prosthetic back on. It's, oh, shit. His leg wasn't broken. It had just come undone.
I actually went to elementary school with a kid. His left arm was always in a sling. I'm sorry, his right arm was always in a sling, and it never grew past him being 6 years old. And he was our first pick on the softball team. One-handed left-hand swing, that motherfucker could put it out of the park.
Yeah, there was a dude that actually probably lived next door to where Crippled Cat said she lived in that Pride Tract where I used to live.
Yeah, up in the Knolls.
Yeah, up in the Knolls area. And he had a weird arm thing. Like his left arm didn't develop all the way like past the elbow.
Right.
And he was a real smart guy though, but people treated him like
the same dude.
His name was Jim Fole. They treated him like a retard, but he was like really smart. And one time he went to go, they were playing with radio controlled airplanes up at, I think it was Knowles Elementary School, the one on Catherine on the Knowles side.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't let him play. So he says, I'll fix their ass. He had a little box thing that, there's only so many frequencies that radio controlled airplanes fly on. He flipped them all on, man, and he ran this dude's airplane right into the backstop.
Yep, and you know what? My stepfather was one of those assholes who had the radio-controlled planes. And, yeah, I knew how to make a jammer box, too.
Yeah, I remember when they used to do it at the airport. They used to have those big shows.
Every time you get these, self-righteous douchebags with their radio-controlled airplanes and gliders, every time you hit the on button of that box, their planes go straight right down to the ground.
Yeah, they lose total control.
No, I mean they actually nosedive right to the ground.
I had a fancy radio-controlled helicopter.
Well, it's an old one anyway.
My buddy thought it would be funny to pretend he was going to shoot it with a shotgun. And when he did, he accidentally touched my antenna to my radio control. That thing fell straight out of the sky and landed right on the roof of his pickup truck. He's all, man, look what you did to my pickup truck. I said, not only did you do it, dude, you owe me like $500 for that radio-controlled helicopter you just wrecked. Well, I didn't wreck it. I says, dude, when you touched your metal shotgun to my antenna, I lost control of my helicopter. So, yes, you are going to pay me for that. He didn't like it, but he did it.
Yeah, I have to admit I'm kind of an asshole with a radio controlled aircraft. I've got 3 altogether.
Well, people just get a little snobby with them. They go out to where people are flying like store-bought ones, or ones that they didn't put a lot of effort into, like their first airplane or whatever. And you got these guys with these damn giant ones. It's like, man, get out of here with your little radio control piece of shit. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
don't be a dick.
My stepfather was the guy who would build his own airplane.
I was lucky. My family actually owned the place. So.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm coming here anyway.
My ex-husband was into the remote control planes, the big ones. He built them himself.
Yeah, they're cool as shit.
But man, if you crash them,
Oh, they break real easy.
it costs up to $600 just to put one together.
It'll cost more than that for
Oh,
some
yeah,
of
man.
them.
I
Now-
They got they got jets and stuff, rocket ships, all kind of shit.
This
Oh,
was back in the early 80s, so
Dude, I got my model rocketry badge from Air Force Junior ROTC. And I played with model rockets before I got into high school.
When I was a kid, I had one of those airplanes on a string. I forget what the name of the Cox. It was an airplane on a string thing. You just go around in circles till you got dizzy and threw up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you remember the engine on it? You had to
049.
Hang on. The engine sounds like
Yep.
and then it just goes on. Yes, I know those Cox airplanes.
I also had the little, it's a 3-wheeled motorcycle. You'd start it up and just let it go, and it just went wherever the hell it wanted to go. It's like, oh, that was really cool, man. Yeah, it's about 5 miles down the road now. You gonna go run and get it?
You know why you'll never find a Cox airplane these days?
They went out of business?
No, because everybody who bought one nosedived it into the ground.
Yeah.
And Cox
Yeah, they were fun. I tried to make a
seriously, dude, you got an airplane on a string with an engine on it, and what are you doing? You're spinning around in circles. At some point, you're going to get dizzy and hit the ground.
I tried to make a rocket car out of a Estes rocket thing, and one of those cheap plastic, like little kids' cars. Got the hard plastic wheels on it and shit.
You're the guy who set the fucking side of the hill on fire, aren't you?
It just melted through the plastic body. The car never even took off. The rocket engine did, but the car didn't. It just sat there and melted.
Yeah.
So that was pretty stupid.
I'm not going. I'm going to stay here and burn. Fuck off.
It's like, I thought it was a pretty good idea at the time. Yeah, we used to do some stupid shit with them rocket engines and stuff. I knew somebody that worked at a place that made solid rocket fuel. There was a lot of people worked at that place. It was in Saugus, back in the 70s and 80s and stuff mainly. And he took a piece of solid rocket fuel home one time, and he was going to make a rocket or something with it. And he went to crunch it with a pair of pliers, and the fucking thing burned up, burned his house down, burned the shit out of him.
Yeah, that was called.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
Space Ordnance Systems was the name of the company.
Yeah, don't mess with that stuff.
It was right next door to the old Saugus Speedway.
You know,
Well, that was the Burmite.
Do you know why terrorists don't use PETN?
I give up. I don't even know what it is.
PETN is that very volatile thing. It's kind of like nitroglycerin.
Okay.
No, nitroglycerin is the safe stuff. PETN, you do not want to throw any kind of shock into that at all. And the reason why terrorists don't use it is because there's no terrorists who decided to use it left. Jesus Christ, take a step and that shit will go off.
You know those little shorts that you see on Facebook? I got one last night that said they showed an airplane right by the wing, like where the emergency exit would be. there was a big hole blown in this airplane. And it said this actually happened because there was a terrorist sitting right there, and he lit off his bomb, and when it blew up, it sucked him out of the airplane, and nobody else was harmed. It's like, whoa, man, that was the hand of God right there.
Had their lunch trays in the full upright position.
It's like, wow, that's karma for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts and put your seats and trays in the full upright position.
It just, as soon as it went off,
boom,
knocked him right out.
Should have listened to the flight attendant.
All right, guys, so we're going to have to cut this down because my dog's going to go out.
Okay,
thanks for having us.
It's important, Tawny. You know that. You know I will always back you up on that.
Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark.
Amanda said hi, and she would have been here, except she's having her own things at the moment. So.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Amanda had something going on when I started, so but that's okay. That's okay.
Well, you know where to find me.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'll see you all around. Love you guys.
All right, love y'all.
Have fun with it.
Bye bye.